We are live. We are live. Welcome to College Football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Pflugar. We cover everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you do as well, please subscribe to our channel. Smash the like button if you like our content. Share the video with your family and your friends if you want to support this Rebel Outpost College Football YouTube channel with a donation. Please hit the $, make a comment, and I will get you super chat as quick as I possibly can. Welcome everybody, one and all, into the studio that sits on the corner of Keith Jackson Parkway and Kurt Gowdy Avenue. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid, PATC community. Do not be afraid to be a legend with your comments in the chat room and with your phone calls. Later in the show, we have got ourselves a stack show. It is absolutely stacked. Now, yesterday, I came out with the PATC order of finish prediction for 2024. Elbows were being thrown in the chat room. People were lacing me all over the place. Even after the show, it was some good stuff. We talked some college football, ACC. Next week, early next week, it's going to happen on a Monday or a Tuesday. The Big 12, the PATC's Big 12 order of finish prediction is going to be coming out. And it's going to be a brouhaha. It is going to be a war inside the studio. I mean, you guys aren't going to be in here, but you know what I'm saying. The elbows are going to be thrown, and a lot of those elbows are going to be sharp elbows. The question is it going to be a Mountaineer sharp elbow? A Cowboy sharp elbow? Is it going to be the Wildcats sharp elbow? The BYU Cougars, the Houston Cougars sharp elbows? Is the Utah Utes going to be very unhappy with me? Because maybe, just maybe, I'm going to be questioning the health of Cameron Rising during the season. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens early next week on a Monday or Tuesday. PATC Big 12's order of finish prediction. Yesterday, if you missed it, the ACC, go and watch it. My heart has been captured. The fat guy from Minnesota's enlarged heart, which is full of scars from the Minnesota Golden Gopher defeats over the last 56 years. This heart has been captured by the North Carolina State Wolfpack. Grayson McCall, Jordan Waters, Noah Rogers. On and on and on. We'll see what happens. We're going to find out what happens when Tennessee plays North Carolina State. I've got Florida State number 2. I've got Miami number 3. Holy smokes. The talented Hurricanes. Can Mario Cristobal win the ACC Conference Championship? That is my question. And before we go on today's show, we got to figure out something here at College Football's Peek Around the Corner. I need there to be some way, somehow, that we can make this go viral. Mike Leach. Mike Leach is 0.04 percentage points away from being able to qualify winning percentage. You need a 60% winning percentage as a head coach in college football to qualify to become into the Hall of Fame. He is 0.04 percentage points away. He needs one more win. Now, I put out a post earlier today saying I needed somebody to step up. I needed a head coach that played Mike Leach in the past, that defeated Mike Leach in one of these games. And one of his games that Mike Leach lost, I think there was 108 of them. Out of those 108 games lost, one of those games needs to find a way to forfeit a game and give it to Mike Leach. I don't care what, be creative. Figure out that there was some player ineligible that played in that game. Whatever you need to do, step up, show some grace. Mike Leach needs one more win. Now, the problem with there's a lot of problems. But one serious problem to my undertaking here for this to happen is just because someone forfeits the game doesn't mean you get the victory. In fact, it doesn't. So, I don't know how we're going to do this, but somehow, some way we need to get the Hall of Fame board, whoever votes on this stuff, to show some grace. Mike Leach died, heart attack, we believe. One win away, his last season at Mississippi State, They won 66% of their games. If they would have done that again the following year, Mike Leach would qualify for the Hall of Fame. So I don't know how we're going to do it, but Peek Around the Corner is committed to try to figure out some way, somehow, the pressure, the Hall of Fame committee, whatever we need to do to get Mike Leach that one more victory, or change the rules, obviously. Give him grace. Give his family grace and all the people who played for him. So we got a stacked show today. I want to say, everybody, I'm going to go through and say thank you for everybody who showed up on time, right away at the start of the live show on a Tuesday lazy afternoon. We're going to be going over the Pro Football Focus Preseason All-Americans. Before that, we're going to be talking about some playoff tickets, some information on the first round of playoff tickets. If you are a student of one of the universities that are going to be having a home game this season in the playoffs, we're going to be going through a little bit of the ABC schedule. The SEC has come out with they've come out with their schedule now for the football season. August 31st is lining up to be a spectacular day of college football in ABC. I know Fox has some good games, but ABC is lighting it up on August 31st. If we have time, we're going to be going through some of the best wide receiver rooms in the country. There is a bill out there in the U.S. House of Congress that is trying to make it this codification, right? A bill that basically says student athletes cannot become employees. We're going to spend a couple of minutes on that. And then so in the Holy Smokes Theater, remember, we try to give out information in an entertaining manner. The information we give out is serious. We're not playing. But we also don't take ourselves too seriously. There's a difference. There is a big difference. Now, the Holy Smokes Theater has been extremely accurate and timely and giving you a peek around the corner. Today, I want to make sure of something. Hold on. Give me one more check. Today, we're not trying to be cute. I'm trying to be entertaining, but I'm not trying to be frustrating. There's a big difference. In the Holy Smokes Theater, there has been a suitcase left on the edge of the stage. And according to our investigative reporter, Jerry, inside the Holy Smokes Theater, when that suitcase was placed at the edge of the stage, the person who was in a fine-looking suit, who placed the suitcase at the edge of the stage, he reached into his pocket. He pulled out a key. He set the key on top of the suitcase that was sitting on the edge of the stage. And then the guy in the suit walked away, walked down the pathway, the middle aisle of the Holy Smokes Theater, went through the big doors that go into the auditorium, went into the foyer, went by the popcorn stand, went right through the front doors of the foyer of the Holy Smokes Theater. But when he reached in, when this fine-looking man in a suit reached into his pocket and put the key on top of the suitcase and turned to walk away, a receipt fell out of his pocket. A receipt fell out of his pocket. Our investigative reporter, Jerry, picked up that receipt. He could read only a little bit of it. Just a little bit of it. The rest of it was all wet, faded away. He could read a little bit of the writing on this printed receipt from the man in the suit who just dropped off the suitcase and the key. Now, hopefully in the following days or weeks ahead, like we always do in the Holy Smokes Theater, this story will develop even more and we'll be able to give you more information as time goes on. Just like we did in the Big 12 Holy Smokes Theater drama, we're giving it to you in the ACC drama. This is the ACC, the primetime show that is going on in the Holy Smokes Theater. This is not the Pac-2 and Friends. This is the ACC drama. We're going to get to that in our monologue, so buckle up, brace for impact. And we're good to go on giving you this receipt and suitcase information. I keep checking to make sure someone doesn't give me but we're good to go. We are good to go. What's in the box? What's on the box? Damn it, what's in the box? Okay, we've got a lot to get to. Let me say thank you for everybody who's come on in. Movie Time Blues, Cheesy Tuesday. Cheesy Tuesday. No! PR 7062 is here. Nick Boardman is here. Marcus Wood. Charlie Atwood. Clint Moses, early peak member. KS Bear Fan, early peak member. Chad Bracey, early peak member. Expedition Greg, early peak member. Larry the GM, early peak member. Jimmy, early peak member. Matt Neeson, Mr. Cyclone, is in the house. Joaquin Morales, don't forget to smash the like button. Morales, early peak member. Stephen McNeely, the Walking Geek, is in the house. Mr. Buckeye Jared Jones. Jared Jones is here. Ted Evans, Husky, Mr. Husky. Don in Kansas. Andrew Creel. Gary is in the house. Richard L., Mr. Colorado Buffalo. Skull Buffs is here. Ryan Brooks is here. Chad Bracey, Stephen Vitt, the architect. I'm rubbing my hands together in anticipation. Greg. Jay Chapman is here. BR 7062. 1, OK State. 2, Kansas State. 3, Utah. Very interesting. Very, 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 very interesting. Do I have that exact 1, 2, and 3? You shall see. Early next week, Tracy FSU is in the house. Marcus Williams is here. Anthony Carlson is here. Joe Z, friends call me Sean. Daniel Carey, Gold Nose, Humble, Bumble, Duck is here. Friends call me Sean. Stephen Clark, Florida Man, Seminole is in the house. Amazing Blue is here. Alex Jackard is here. Florida State Axel is in the house. Scrappin' Wolf and Doctor. The Doctor is here in the house. I appreciate you all coming on in. Let's get to it. We've got a lot to cover today in the Holy Smokes Theater. We're going to quickly go through Pro Football Focus. You guys know how much I like them. They're great analysts. This is their preseason All-American team. Carson Beck, Georgia, is the quarterback, not Quinn Ewers. Carson Beck is the quarterback. He was spectacular last year. He silenced all the doubters, finishing fourth in the PFF overall grade of 91.5. His consistency stood out. Carson Beck, Georgia, they're my number one team on even days. On even numbered days, they're my number one team. It's June 11th, so Ohio State Buckeyes are my number one team today. I do-si-do them. Odd, even, odd, even, odd, even. The Buckeyes are number one on odd days, and Georgia are number one on even days. Until we get to week 0, week 1, we'll see what the results are. If the Georgia Bulldogs blow out the Clemson Tigers, well, maybe Georgia would get my number one spot on odd and even days. Carson Beck, All-American quarterback, PFF, preseason. Of course, we're talking about Ollie Gordon. Oklahoma State Cowboys led the nation 2023 in rushing. He's simply at a different level compared to most running backs, compared to all running backs this year. They're going to rely heavily on Gordon. They're going to rely heavily on him, and he's a big enough man to carry the weight. Ollie Gordon is your running back on the All-American team. Then there's Luther Burden, Missouri. McMillan, Arizona receiver. If you haven't heard of McMillan, now's the time you start buying his draft stock. 6'5", true sophomore, appears to have a great chemistry with Fafita. And that's just one of many issues when you're going to try to predict the order of finish in the Big 12. McMillan, Fafita. Where are you going to put Arizona? Where are you going to put Arizona? Luther Burden broke out last season. We know about him coming out of high school. Number one high school receiver. He is an absolute beast. Colston Loveland, the tight end, PFF All-Preseason All-American. Not a surprise. And then you got the left tackle. LSU has a great right tackle, a great left tackle. Will Campbell made the preseason All-American PFF. You can almost already pencil in Will Campbell as OT1 for the upcoming draft in 2025. He did not allow a single sack across 491 pass blocking snaps and let up only 17 total pressures. As great as he is as a pass blocker, he might even be better suited to paving the way in the run game. Holy smokes. Will Campbell, preseason All-American. Donovan Jackson, Ohio State. He is the most talented guy on the Buckeyes O-line. They're not going to have problem with Donovan Jackson. They might have some issues on the tackle spot, but not at the guard spot, not at left guard. Donovan Jackson. Parker Brailsford, Alabama center. He is the All-American. He followed his head coach, Kalen DeBoer, from Washington to Alabama. Big loss for the Huskies. Tate Ratledge, Georgia, the 6'6" senior, flirted with the 2024 NFL draft, but he decided to come back. Just one of the many guys, Georgia Bulldogs, on this preseason All-American list. The Bulldogs are, they're going to be a very tough out. Very tough out in 2024. Johnny Cornelius, Oregon. Cornelius has come a long way. He played at Rhode Island, went in the portal, and everybody went after Cornelius. Everybody, all the big brands, all of them did. Who got him? The Ducks. Bo Nix rarely took sacks in 2023. One of the big reasons, Cornelius. He should be even better in 2024. Quinshon Judkins is the flex. The flex is just another slot that you can throw in a player. Quinshon Judkins may have been the most underrated transfer portal pickup for Ohio State this offseason. I don't know about that. I don't know who was underrated Quinshon Judkins. Now, behind this Buckeyes line, Judkins is set up to have a monster season. Now, to be fair, Quinshon Judkins did fall a little bit if you compare his freshman season to his sophomore season. But I think he's going to get back on track as a junior for the Buckeyes. I think he's going to have a monster year with Travion Henderson. Defense, James Pierce Jr., the edge rusher, Tennessee. We talked about him a couple months ago. We're going to be talking about him again when we do our order for finish prediction in the SEC. James Pierce Jr., 6'5", physically gifted, 93.5 pass rushing grade. Unbelievable. The edge rusher, Gilead from Louisville, one of the best ACC defensive players, 85.8 grade last season, racked up 42 quarterback hurries last year, 58 total pressures, ranked in the top 10 among the edge defenders. Mason Graham, we've talked about him a lot over the last couple months. Defense interior lineman, Mason Graham, Michigan, coming back this year. Howard Cross, defensive interior lineman for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Incredibly productive in 2023. 41 tackles, 39 pressures. Harold Perkins, LSU. You knew his name was going to be here. Linebacker, LSU. Perkins can play a handful of positions on defense and cover the field adequately. Barrett Carter, Clemson, on probably the best linebacker room in the country. The Clemson Tigers. Now, I had them finishing 4th in the ACC. It has nothing to do with their great defense coming in to this season. No way, no how. Clemson Tigers' issues do not fall at the feet of Wes Goodwin, their defensive coordinator. It has to do with the quarterback. It has to do with the receivers. I don't think they're going to score enough points at Clemson to battle for the ACC championship at the end of the year. We're going to find out, aren't we? We're going to find out, but Barrett Carter is the real deal. Benjamin Morrison. And now Morrison, he's been dinged up this spring. Hopefully he's healthy. Hopefully he's healthy for the start of the season. Benjamin Morrison, Notre Dame, had a great year last year. Will Johnson, Michigan. We all know about Will Johnson. He's going to be one of the first names picked in the 2025 NFL Draft. Caleb Downs, Ohio State Buckeyes, was arguably the best true freshman in college football last year and is only going to get better. He racked up 85 total tackles in 2023 at Alabama, 88.9 PFF coverage grade, also ranks 3rd among returning safeties. Now at Ohio State, Downs will look to help form one of the nation's toughest, nastiest defenses for 2024. The more we do these shows, the more deep dive we do this, the Buckeyes and the Bulldogs, in my mind, keep separating themselves from the rest of the pack. I don't know what team you would have in front of Ohio State and Georgia. I know some people are going to say Oregon, but man, I got to see it first. I got to see Oregon play that week in, week out schedule in the Big Ten. When they're playing bigger defensive lines, bigger offensive lines in the Big Ten. Week in, week out. Doesn't matter who they're playing. They're going to be playing bigger lines than they were in the Pac-12. And I just want to see what happens. We're not talking about one-off games. We're talking week in, week out, week in, week out, week in, week out. I want to see Oregon do it. So I don't have Oregon with Ohio State and the Georgia Bulldogs. Maliki Starks, Georgia Bulldogs. Again, Georgia. Starks was also one of the best true freshmen in college football, just like Caleb Downs. Managed to get even better as a sophomore, raising his PFF grades in every category. The leader of the Georgia Bulldogs in the secondary, Sebastian Castro, flex, PFF Preseason All-American, the Iowa Hawkeyes. He was overshadowed by Cooper DeJean and Iowa's 2023 defense, but he could be the better cornerback of the two. He is a beast. Castro is a missile. He can cover, he can hit, but he also, when he gets into the backfield, he can create all kinds of havoc. Sebastian Castro can do it all for the Iowa Hawkeyes. Special teams, Bert Auburn, the kicker from Texas, 56 of 56 at extra points. 90.5 field goal grade is a top 10. He's off to the SEC. Texas is going to be in a lot of close games with massive implications. Bert Auburn might be one of the most impactful, one of the most important football players for 2024. If you look at it, James Burnett, punter from Alabama, averaged 47.5 yards per punt in 2023. And then finally, the flex special teams, preseason All-American, PFF, Travis Hunter from Colorado. It would be almost impossible for any other player to fill this role better than Otani of college football. Hunter played 1,074 snaps last season, 622 on defense, 452 on offense, 30 on special teams. Not only does he play both sides of the ball, but he's very good at both. Travis Hunter, preseason All-American. Let me know in the comments section who was left out that should have been in the All-American list, PFF. I think they do great work. When they put out something, I take it very seriously. So we had to release it. Now, I know Phil Steele has put out his All-American list in his magazine. There's a lot of reports on that. People start putting out their All-American list here in the second week of June. This is when it happens. This is when we start making our predictions on the conference races. We're talking about All-Americans. We're juicing it up here we're only, 80-some days away? How many days? Till August 29th. Let me know in the chat room. 84, 83, 85, I don't know. But we're getting closer and closer every single day. Kerry Gold knows. Marvin Jones Jr. Now, I talked about Marvin Jones Jr. a little bit yesterday. We don't really know. He's good. He should be a very good player this year for the Seminoles, but we don't know, still don't quite know what we're getting, in my opinion. He could be great. He could be an All-American. but I don't think they could have put him up there for preseason. Richard L., Mr. Colorado Buffalo, excited to see Travis this year. He is exciting. Greg, you're going to talk about federal legislation. You have it under the title. Yeah, we've got a lot to cover. We've got a lot to cover. I can cover that next. I can go ahead and cover that next. Chad Bracey, what we really need is an ACC money perch to give us the thought process on the other end. How open are they to taking the suitcase? Beck will probably be a Heisman Trophy favorite this year. He is. Now, this is not... Do I still have that? Maybe I don't have that. Nope, I don't have that anymore. Carson Beck was the favorite with Quinn Ewers, but I think Carson Beck was the slight favorite. And at one of the sports books that I saw earlier this spring, he'll be right up there. He'll be right up there. He had an unbelievable year last year. He was incredible. I don't think we talked enough about Carson Beck last year, to be honest with you. Bo Weevil, go Clemson. 74 days. It can't be 74 days. August 24th is 74 days. That seems too low a number. Maybe you're correct, Joe Z. Maybe you are correct. Okay, let's get to Movie Time Blues wants to talk about the legislation. So let's get to it. Steve Berkowitz. U.S. House Committee on Education and the Workforce announces that Thursday markup hearing will include the bill from Representative Bob Good that states a college athlete may not be considered an employee of an institution, a conference, or an association. Bob Good, representative in the U.S. House of Congress, in the U.S. House Committee on Education. Now, he actually formed this bill. Well, let's get to the next part here. Ross Dellinger. The bill protecting student athletes' Economic Freedom Act will be up for debate Thursday in a hearing. It is a narrow bill that would prohibit college athlete employment, one of the NCAA's essential asks of Congress. Bill is intended to be a rider with other legislation. To try to get in, to try to slip it in with other legislation. Maybe some horse trading going on, get the whole ball of wax passed, or it all gets voted down. This bill, HR 8534. We'll put it up on the board here. (118th) Congress, second session, May 23rd. May 23rd is when this all got started. HR 8534. May 23rd. It is June 11th. To prohibit a student athlete from being considered an employee of an institution, a conference, or an association based on participation in certain intercollegiate athletics. Mr. Good of Virginia, Mrs. Fox, Mr. Owens, Mr. Burleson, Mr. Ogles, Mr. Wahlberg, Mr. Allen, Mr. Kelly of Pennsylvania, and a few others. So this got the ball rolling being enacted by the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States of America in Congress assembled, this act may be cited as protecting Student Athletes Economic Freedom Act, notwithstanding any other provisions of federal or state law or student athlete or former student athlete. May not be considered, a student athlete may not be considered an employee of an institution, a conference, or an association under any federal or state law or regulation based on participation of the student athlete in a varsity intercollegiate athletic program or varsity intercollegiate athletics competition, or the existence of rules or requirements for being a member of any varsity sports team. So that is, we're going to hear more about it on Thursday. Again, there is it's up for debate on Thursday. So we'll see, we'll follow this story and we'll see how it goes. Let me know in the chat, or let me know with your phone calls later on in the show what you're thinking. Now this is, if this passes, if this federal legislation passes, the House, the Senate, the President signs it, this is the codification. This is the protection that Charlie Baker, that Greg Sankey, that Tony Petitti, that Brett Yormark, that Jim, this is what they all want. This is what they all gambled on. Right? When they voted for that, now wasn't it May 23rd? Wasn't that the date in which it all had, what was the date in which it all had to be official that everybody agreed to the settlement? Was it May 23rd? Because that's the day that this bill was originally written and put forward. I think it would, how would that conflict with the Dartmouth suit for the privates, Michael Smith? I think it wipes out the NLRB ruling of the Dartmouth case. I think it wipes it out. I think it completely, if it happens, if it goes through and it becomes law, I think it wipes out the Dartmouth. I don't think the USC thing goes further. The NLRB case versus USC versus NCAA versus the old Pac-12. I think all that gets eliminated. Ryan Willie, if it wasn't for the refs, Wisconsin would have beaten Oregon in the 2020 Rose Bowl. Justin Herbert hasn't lived up to the hype in the NFL. Ooh, jeez. I don't know about the refs. I don't remember, Wisconsin Badger fans, the refs are always against them. And they should be. They should be. That means my vanilla envelopes filled with cash are getting to the referees' pockets. So I'm very happy about that. But Justin Herbert, he's had a really good pro career. He hasn't won he hasn't won the Super Bowl, but he's been pretty good. Thank you, Ryan Willie, for the super chat. Thank you for your generosity. I appreciate it so very much. Thank you for helping us keep the lights on here, Ryan Willie. Whoops. Sorry about that. Thank you, Ryan Willie. Appreciate it. Herbert's been balling out. I think he has been too. Is that sort of law constitutional? We'll find out. We'll find that out later. Later, the GM. It's a great question. We'll find that out later. Ted Evans. Them are fighting words for the Duck fans. Ryan Willie throwing elbows. Nussmeier might be on the list at the end of the year. Jeez. You guys. Max Brosmere might be on that list at the end of the year. How about them apples? Okay. All right. So we've talked about the bill. It's a big news item. It's important. If that thing passes, that gives protection, at least for a while, right? At least until someone takes it to the Supreme Court. But, that's a big deal. We'll see what happens. I don't know how it can pass this year, but it's a rider. It's part of a larger set of bills. It's either all going to pass or none of it's going to pass, I believe. And I don't know what it's attached to. I could not tell by the names that I read. Was that bipartisan congressmen and congresswomen? Or was that just one party? I don't know. Playoff tickets. Dennis Dodd, CBS Sports. The college football playoff first round on campus. Ticket prices revealed today. No higher than highest price ticket over the last 2 seasons. Student tickets will be the highest of current single game ticket for $25. So I read that as saying, if the TCU Horned Frogs, Mick Stevens is in the house, if TCU finishes number 7, they lose, TCU loses in the Big 12 championship game, and they are a 7th seed, and they get a home game against 10th seed Penn State Nittany Lions. Penn State goes in to TCU Fort Worth. I believe that TCU, for the students, you can't go over $25 a ticket for the students. I could be wrong, but that's how I'm reading it. Let me know if you think I'm reading it wrong. There's some information from Dennis Dodd, ABC, Ross Dellinger. ABC is going to have a hell of an opening act of college football season on August 31st. Noon Eastern time. Clemson versus the number 1 rated Georgia Bulldogs. 3:30 Eastern time. Miami Hurricanes, Florida Gators. Gainesville, the Swamp. 7:30 Eastern time. Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Riley Leonard versus Connor Wegman versus Mike Elko versus Marcus Freeman. Nick Scordham. Holy smokes. Now that is a great triple header to begin the season on ABC. Again, ABC is part of this new Tier 1 media package for SEC. There's going to be even more big games. They took that away from CBS completely. ABC, ESPN. You got at Florida. You've got at Texas A&M on the very first Saturday to begin the season. Holy smokes. We have other stories to cover. However, let's get inside the Holy Smokes Theater. Again, this is a way that we can give you information that is going on in college football, hopefully in an entertaining manner, in a way in which we can harvest the field over and over and over again. We can continue to provide you the information early, accurate, and as much as we possibly can give out. In the Holy Smokes Theater, the ACC drama, the reporter, the investigative reporter in the Holy Smokes Theater, Jerry, watched a man with a very expensive suit holding a suitcase, comes through the front foyer, walks past the popcorn stand, opens the big doors inside the theater, walks down the aisle, the middle aisle, 40 rows, remember? Goes to the stage, sets a suitcase down at the edge of the stage, reaches into his pocket, pulls out a key, puts the key on top of the suitcase. The gentleman turns and walks out of the theater, walks up the aisle, 40 rows he passes. He goes through the big doors that lead into the auditorium, that lead out into the front foyer. He's walking through the front foyer. He walks past the popcorn stand, goes through the front doors. He's out on the street here in Heisman City, walking down Keith Jackson Parkway, and there is a suitcase at the edge of the stage with a key. The Florida State and Clemson are standing at the center of the stage. Remember, there's nobody else on the stage. Remember, they all were off the stage. This was about May 23rd. That's why I have the date May 23rd in my head. It was May 23rd. That's the day they all walked off the stage. You can go back to our live show on May 23rd. Only Clemson and Florida State. Only Clemson and Florida State are standing on the stage. The suitcase is laid at the edge of the stage. There's a key on it. Florida State walks to it, looks down at the suitcase, picks up the suitcase, takes the key, puts the key in his pocket, and goes back to the middle of the stage, standing there with Clemson. So Clemson is standing at the middle of the stage. Florida State is standing at the middle of the stage. Florida State is holding a suitcase. The suitcase is heavy. You can tell it's heavy. But something else happened. When the man in the suit turned and walked up the aisle, as he put his hand back in his pocket, remember, he put his hand in to grab the key, to put it on the suitcase. As he walked away, a receipt fell out of his pocket onto the aisle, right next to the stage on the aisle floor, the carpeted floor, the red carpeted floor of the auditorium. Investigative reporter Jerry picked it up. He looked at it. The receipt was wet, damp. Most of the print on the receipt was faded away. Where did this receipt come from? How old was it? Could he make out anything on the receipt? This is what Jerry reported that was on the top of the receipt. He could read the first letter in the first line of the receipt. He could read 3 characters on the second line of the receipt. And he could read one item that was looked to be ordered on the receipt. I'm sorry. That is incorrect. I did not put the latest information in. Hold on. Let me start over. I did not. My apologies. The top of the receipt, you could see the letter O. It's not a 0. It's an O. You can see one letter, O, but you can see it's the first letter. Everything else is, all the other print is gone. Below that O, you can see the following. Right under the O is the number 4. On the right side of the 4 is a 5. Then there's a gap. There's a little bit of a space. And then there's the letter E. We got more to go through. And I know this is probably tedious for some of you. This is probably mighty interesting for a lot of you investigators out there. So I want to say it again. I haven't given you everything that's on the receipt. There's not much there, but there might be enough. O is the first, is the very top left corner of the receipt. It's the only thing you can read on the first line. All the other print is washed away. The next line down under the O is the number 4. On the right side of the number 4 is the number 5. So it says 45. That's what it looks like. Then there's a space, and then there's the letter E. Below that is a capital. Below the number 4 is the capital letter C. Then right next to the letter C is the letter H. It's not capital. Then everything else, all the other print is washed away. Then there's a good gap of nothing. A whole bunch of print is washed away. But there is one more line down below at not quite the bottom of the receipt, but about 60% down from the bottom of the receipt. There is it looks like it says crispy green bean fries. Crispy green bean fries. So I'm going to go over it one more time. I could put it up on the chalkboard. Maybe I will do that on the next show. The letter capital O at the top of the receipt. 4 is under the letter O. 5 is on the right side of 4, 45. Space E, that's a capital E. Down below, right underneath 45, is a capital C. Then an H, that is not capital. And then about 65% down on the receipt is crispy green bean fries. Jerry doesn't know what that means. He reported it us here at Peek Around the Corner. We reported to you all. And when we get more information, and we will, because we already have it, we will be sharing it to you when we can. Was there a hot bubble of action? Did something happen? That suit? The guy in the suit, he had that receipt in his pocket. Does it have anything to do with the suitcase? Florida State picked it up. Did it have anything to do with Florida State? What is that receipt? Where did it come from? Is it important? Well, it probably is. It probably is. So that's what we got here, peek around the corner. It wasn't a lot, but it will be probably more important as time goes on. You can talk about anything you want in college football. We'll pick up your super chats if there is any. We'll go pick up the phone if there's any phone calls. We're going to open up the phone lines right now. You can let us know what you think that receipt is, or you can talk about your team. You can talk about what corporate sponsors. There's more and more talk about corporate sponsors getting on the logos, getting the logos on the football field, and probably on your uniforms. It's not legal now, but it's probably going to be legal here in the future. What corporations do you think is going to be sponsoring your favorite football team? And by the way, when those corporations now put their logos on the football field, and soon, I believe, they're going to be on your uniforms. At least one logo somewhere on your uniform. That advertising is going to be more valuable to the advertise. It's going to be more valuable than ever, because eventually that's going to be on your EA Sports 26 game, your 27 game. People are going to be looking at that advertising every single time they play the game. Go play NASCAR. Play a NASCAR video game. You see logos all over the place. And you keep seeing the logos over and over and over. Go play your FIFA soccer games. You see your logos all over the place, especially on the uniforms. That's in the video game. It becomes even more. That's going to be a big revenue stream. A new revenue stream for these college football programs, the athletic departments. Anyways, the phone line is open. 763-260-1333. 763-260-1333. Give us a call. Talk about anything in college football that you desire. The Big Lubbock, or $45 million, which is one of the distribution withheld. The advertising value is huge. No question. No question about it. So 45 in E is maybe a street address. Lee says Chicago address. The Big Lubbock is that address to the ACC in Charlotte, North Carolina for $450 million. Immaculate sounds like to me maybe an address like what you would see on a letter. Tony, O equals UFO. That could be the case, except for O is the first letter. You can tell it how it lines up. It's not the third letter. Else, I think you might be onto something, Tony. Might be onto something, or you're on something. Cheese on fries. That was not cheese on fries. Crispy green bean fries. I've never heard of them. I've never had a crispy green bean fry in my life. I didn't even know it existed. I did not make this up. It must exist somewhere. Crispy green bean fries. Maybe that's the biggest clue on the receipt. I don't know. Maybe you guys are looking in the wrong direction. I don't know. Amy S. 45E Chicago address for 7-Eleven. Something about the Magnificent Seven. Very interesting. Jamie Thornton, I want to thank God and Krispy Kreme, FedEx, Gas, Pullman, God. Beautiful. Grandma's cookie. Greg, since you gave us a nothing burger, why bother? Well, is it a nothing burger? And the next time we give information, we add information to this, the dots might start, they will start connecting, Nick. They will start connecting. I got a lot of nothing burgers when we talked about the hot bubble of action between April 28th and May 17th. We could give you a date range going on in the Big 12. Maybe you weren't here, Nick Boardman. And I got a lot of people saying that's a nothing burger. Then on May 8th, I came on live and I said the Pac-12 is hanging by a thread because of what happened the day before. And then later, when Pete Thamel finally put it out in public, I could talk about it. May 7th was the meeting of Colorado and the Big 12 in Chicago. The meeting lasted 90 minutes. We know who was in the room. We know why it couldn't happen on April 30th. We knew why it couldn't happen a week after May 7th. We had so much details of why it couldn't even happen on the other days. One being a particular very important person in that meeting. Their daughter was graduating from a Big Ten university, Indiana. And it couldn't happen on April 30th because another part of that meeting between Colorado and the Big 12, their family member was having a wedding. They were getting married. So it happened on May 7th. We couldn't get you all the details at the time, but we told you there was something big that was going on. And on May 8th, if you go back to my May 8th live show 14 months ago, go look at it. On May 8th, I came out here and said the Pac-12 got a shot in the solar plexus. I kept saying it over and over and over again. I couldn't tell you there was a meeting, but I could tell you that the Pac-12 got a shot to the solar plexus. I said that on May 8th. I said it just happened because we knew the meeting did take place on May 7th. The Big 12 actually showed up to the meeting. Colorado actually showed up to the meeting. And then on May 24th, we said there was something happening west of Colorado with some of the money perch of Colorado. We couldn't tell you at the time that it was Newport, California. And then on May 31st, we told you something was happening in the state of Colorado. It was Boulder, Colorado, with the Little Minnows. We cannot always, most of the time, we can't tell you the particular details of certain situations. So I do get a lot of nothing burger, Greg. Why'd you tell us anything, Greg? You didn't tell us anything, Greg. I'm going to tell you something. I'm telling you a lot more than anybody else's on stuff that is actually happening or has happened. So, again, do a little bit of investigative reporting on yourself. See what you can come up, and we'll continue this story. Some of you might be cracking it. And we try to do this in an entertaining fashion. I like a Sherlock Holmes mystery. I like it. The receipt and the key. The address for the Big Ten headquarters, 5441 Park Place, Rosemont, Illinois. So not 845 with an E. Next time we get a nothing burger with cheese. Chad Bracy believes it's a hotel. Rod Nix, 6th Street, Capitol, Chicago, Illinois, office location, Suite 4525. This is the money shot, Greg. Interesting. Lee says Chicago because Alford was just in Chicago meeting with the boosters. Expedition Greg, hey, I found a restaurant that serves crispy green bean fries. It's TGI Fridays. Immaculate, first restaurant that it comes up when I search crispy green bean Fridays is TGI Fridays. Ryan Willie, Culver's at Wisconsin. I hate Butterburgers, but a nice juicy bacon cheeseburger after I pass your popcorn stand to go directly to the burger stand. Well, you should not be able to pass food into their auditorium at Holy Smokes Theater. The only burgers that you can get in the auditorium is just your plain burger. You can get fried onions, you can get fried mushrooms, you can get barbecue sauce to put on that, you can get all types of seasoning, you can get some jalapenos, but you cannot have cheese on your burger. So if you're trying to pass a cheeseburger into the Holy Smokes Ryan Willie, you're going to be thrown right out. But first, before you get thrown out of the Holy Smokes Theater, we appreciate your super chat and your incredible generosity to this channel, Ryan. You are helping us keep the lights on. You're a main reason why we're able to do this every single day. I appreciate it, Mr. Ryan Willie. I like Culver's Butterburgers, but not with the cheese. Not with the cheese. Thank you so much, Ryan Willie. I do appreciate it. I'm bringing my cheese in my purse, Greg. No way I'm eating that burger without cheese. You don't know what you're missing, Mrs. Arkansas Razorback. You Arkansas, you Razorbacks, you don't eat your pig with a bunch of cheese. You don't eat your beautiful barbecue, your pork ribs in Arkansas. You don't lather it with cheese. So why are you lathering your cheese everywhere else? Ask yourself that question, Mrs. Arkansas Razorback Tony. Is the ACC dirty laundry in the suitcase? Well, if there is, why is there a key? That key looks like goes with the suitcase. The Florida State, when he picked up that suitcase, he put the key in his pocket. Clemson did not pick it up. Florida State picked it up. He put the key in his pocket. In the suitcase, according to our investigative reporter, Jerry, the suitcase seemed to be heavy. Well, that's gross. That's absolutely gross. That is horrifying. That is absolutely horrifying. We do, Greg. Jamie Thornton, white cheese sauce, Oliver pork barbecue is great. No! That is the most horrifying thing I've ever read in my life, Jamie Thornton. Holy smokes. Eddie Williams, Florida State has accepted an offer from someone. Florida State got a receipt after making an exit payment. Amy S. Also, the 7-Eleven at 45E Chicago Avenue in Chicago is in the Magnificent Mile. Happy hour at TGI Friday used to be the bomb. Nitwit, is there tacos in the Holy Smokes Theater? Yes, there is, but they're my wife's tacos, and there's no cheese on those tacos. You can have Blanco cheese cut in cubes on the side, along with some avocado chopped up, along with some pepper chopped up. So you can do stuff with the tacos if you want, but you're not getting served with melted cheese on your tacos. Holy smokes, TGI Fridays in the Dallas-Fort Worth Airport is in Terminal E. The Big Lubbock, the Suitcase is the money to buy out for the ACC. Ryan Brooks is the key to lock or unlock the code National Treasure. Whopper is better without the cheese. I always knew that Connecticut fan was the brilliant one in the chat room. I've always thought that. Now it's been confirmed. Connecticut fan is the genius in the chat room. No question about it after that remark. This show went pear-shaped in a New York minute. Aww. Go Black 45. The Suitcase is for the first payment Florida State is getting from the private equity group. Cameron B. Rock Chalk Jayhawk. Most of these meetings will all take place in airport lounges. While they are public places, they are more transient. Morris Simmons, Florida State will not be hostage to the ACC. Pizza with any type of cheese, most cheeses, is good. Just don't put the meat on it. Just don't put the meat on it. Greg, you made a mistake by giving me the nickname the Evil Badger. Well, I give any Badger fan that I know that comes into the chat, they're called the Evil Badger. Jeff Olson, one of my dear and close friends, like one of my 3 closest friends in my life, is a big Badger fan. Lives and dies Badgers. Every NCAA tournament we get together, the Badgers are everything to him. That and Major League Baseball. He loves the Brewers, Major League Baseball. Jeff Olson comes in the chat room at least about once a week, and I call him the Evil Badger Jeff Olson. He wears it proudly. He's very proud of that. When I'm upset with the Badgers, he's happy. When I call him the Evil Badger, he's happy. Mr. LSU Tiger Ryan Brooks, We put shrimp and crawfish on our pizza, and yes, with cheese too. Maybe there is a good reason why I'm not quite sure what to do with the LSU Tigers this year. After that comment from Mr. Ryan Brooks. Calzones are gross. Calzones are the worst thing in the world. Almost the worst thing in the world. Suitcase holds the exit fee for Florida State, paid by the SEC with key for expansion. Now that is interesting. Is the guy that is wearing the beautiful, expensive suit, is he from the SEC? He could be. CJ may be onto something. That suitcase holds something. That key means something. Does the key fit into the suitcase? Or is the key for something else? The suitcase is heavy. If it is full of cash, there's a whole lot of cash in it. Did the guy in the beautiful suit, did he come from the SEC? Where did he come from? He walked out of the auditorium. And then the receipt fell out of the guy in the suit. What is that letter O? The first line of the receipt. What does that O mean? What does it mean? O? What starts with the letter O at the beginning of a receipt? I'm not sure a whole lot of people are paying attention to that O. Just my take on it. My take on it. Congo, Omaha. Expedition Greg, Ohio State. Movie Time Blues, Orlando. Stephen Clark thinks it's Ohio State. Amy S. Obtuse. No problem, Ryan. I appreciate you. I appreciate you, sir. I appreciate you. I appreciate your comments. And of course, your generosity is helping us keep on every single day. CJ, oh my God. Steve-O, Ole Miss. Amy S. out. The project that Florida State named the Asiala it was their what Florida State wrote up for to get out of the ACC. It was their plan. Is that what the O means? Phone lines are open. 763-260-1333. 763-260-1333. The lines are open. Give us a call. The best wide receiver rooms in the nation, according to CBS Sports. Will Backus, earlier today, number one wide receiver room in the country is Oregon. Troy Franklin out to the NFL. Petez Johnson, who set the single season program record, 86 receptions, is back. Holy smokes. Trayshawn Holden, Gary Bryant round out Oregon's returning depth, but then they got transfer Evan Stewart. Mr. Stewart is a 5-star prospect, and he impressed with Jimbo Fisher, even though that passing game was ridiculous at Jimbo Fisher. Despite the inconsistent quarterback play and an underwhelming offensive scheme under former coach Jimbo Fisher. Stewart is with Oregon. They do not have an underwhelming offensive scheme. Oregon is absolutely stacked. The Buckeyes seem like they're always going to be one of the top wide receiver rooms. Ibuka. He spurned the NFL draft. He's going to give new quarterback Will Howard at least one proven option. But they got Jeremiah Smith, the number 1 prospect from the class of 2024. Jeremiah Smith has not played a game yet, but in spring football, he turned everybody's heads. He was absolutely dominant. Carnell Tate is another former 5-star prospect who the Buckeyes expect to step up after a solid first year of the program. Texas has the number 3 wide receiver room in the nation, according to CBS Sports. The Texas transfer, the gem of the Texas transfer class, Alabama's wide receiver Isaiah Bond. Isaiah Bond was coming on at the end of last year. He was getting more and more opportunities. He was making more and more plays for Roll Tide, Alabama, and then he went in the portal, and now he's with Texas. Bond had a scorching hot close to the 2023 season. He's a breakout star waiting to happen. Amari Niblack from Alabama, the tight end. Texas also got Niblack. They've also got Matthew Gordon from Houston. Silas Bolden, Oregon State. Number 4, Missouri. You know about Luther Burden III. One of the top, if not the top wide receiver in 2024. But Missouri is much deeper than just one name. Former Oklahoma transfer Theo Weiss Jr. 682 yards last year. This is his second year at Missouri. Dynamic slot receiver Mookie Cooper. 939 yards in 3 seasons. He's back for another year. Marquise Johnson is back. Tight end Brett Northfleet. They've got depth. They've got experience. They've all played together with the same quarterback, same head coach. Missouri is going to be a tough out. Ole Miss is number 5 in the wide receiver room in college football. Trey Harris. 54 catches, 985 yards. The Louisville transfer, Jordan Watkins, 741 yards. They secured the commitment from former South Carolina star Antwain Wells Jr. Wells was sidelined with a foot season last year, but he's one of the SEC's best when he's healthy. And then they got the tight end, the big guy, Ole Miss. The honorable mention for the best wide receiver room in the country, Georgia, LSU, Miami, Oklahoma, and Kansas makes an appearance. Lawrence Arnold, Luke Grimm, they've been there forever. Luke Grimm, Lawrence Arnold, Quentin Skinner, Kansas, full of experience, wide receiver room. There it is. Those are the best wide receiver rooms in the country. Give us a call, 763-260-1333. Let me know if you agree, disagree. Let me know if your wide receiver room should be in the listing of the top 5, the top 10. Jordan H. O'Brien's Riverwalk Cafe, 45 East Riverwalk, Southern Chicago, Illinois. Immaculate. All right, gotta run. Good luck on the puzzle, guys.
Call from
Rod Nix.
Rod Nix, the floor is yours. Thanks for calling, sir. I do appreciate it.
Hey, Greg, great show. First time caller. Love everything you do.
I appreciate it, sir.
I'm going to play Columbo here for you if I can.
You got it. Go for it.
Just following some of the leagues that have been in press clippings and chatter here in Central Georgia and down toward Tallahassee.
Yep.
When Project Osceola first began, there were quote-unquote contacts between J.P. Morgan Chase and 6th Street. 6th Street is located at the address that I sent you. The C could be for Chicago. The O could be a flip, a play on words, sliding the Osceola in front of the project term, which was the original name of it. Again, the address is in play, and the original documents were showing that the initial allocation was going to be $250 million that Florida State was going to acquire potentially through private equity to initiate the process, as well as to offset some of the costs of the bond that we are undertaking to do our stadium expansion. So this could be, just speculating, but this could be the beginning of those moves because, as JD has said on several indications, things are getting serious in Tallahassee, Greg. And I think the window is closing. There have been multiple trips back and forth to the greater Chicago area. I think Florida State knows that if they don't make a move sooner or later, the window may close through some unforeseen circumstance. As you've alluded to, the money is slowly drying up. They have to move, and they have to move quickly. And if they want to be a part of this over the next 2 years and secure their home, wherever it is, in the SEC or the Big Ten, things have got to ramp up in a hurry. So I think as a Florida State fan, based on what we're seeing, what is out there in various reports talking about Project Osceola, and it's public knowledge, it's out there to be read, and you can see, I really think that things are beginning to move, and Florida State is lining up that private capital, Greg.
Okay.
Again, appreciate.
Well, hold on, Columbo. Hold on.
Okay.
Hold
no
on,
problem,
Columbo.
sir.
I know what Columbo likes to do. He likes to walk out of the room, and then he says, wait, I got one more question. Right? He always does that. Well, I got a question for Columbo before he walks out of the room. Project Osceola, the O being possibly Osceola, that all sounds great, but there is one particular part of the receipt that is going to have to somehow make sense with Project Osceola and the rest of it.
Sir.
And that is the crispy green bean fries. Why is that on the receipt? What is going on there?
Full disclosure, sir. The investigation is continuing on that.
All right. Beautiful. All right. Thanks for the call, sir. Hey.
Appreciate everything you do, my friend. Great job.
Rod Nix, call again. Call again.
I will, sir.
Thank you.
I will.
Beautiful.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Beautiful. Great call by Rod Nix. Long time. Rod Nix always making incredible, great comments in the chat room. I'm glad he called. A great first-time caller. Is going to be a great second-time caller, third-time caller. I hope he calls again. I hope I did not scare him. I hope I did not put too much pressure on Private Columbo, Rod Nix, when I asked him that question. All these, it all has to kind of, that green bean. What is that green bean? I don't even know what that is. I have to keep looking at what I was sent. Crispy green bean fries. The Board of Trustees meeting June 20th, Florida State. I looked into this. I have talked to, I don't know, maybe I've talked to 5 or 6 people in the PATC community about this June 20th. And I'm going to go ahead and see if there's any updates. We checked in on this last week. And we were told it wasn't of importance to realignment or conference affiliation, or we were told that people did not believe it was of importance. But we'll see. I haven't, when I was told that, I've kind of looked away from it. So we'll keep looking at it. June 20th is on a Friday. Yeah, I don't know. Does somebody have an agenda? I was told that it was not going to be of importance to what we would consider important, interesting here at Peek Around the Corner. Expedition Gray, honestly think there was a meeting at TGI Fridays. There are a lot of TGI Fridays at O'Hare Airport. The O is from Leon County. The Florida court ruled Florida State is free to go for $45 million. Oregon, Ohio State trying to tell us something with these Big Ten schools, starting with the letter O. Red Lobster cheddar cheese biscuits. Red Lobster, yeah. The cheddar cheese biscuits, fantastic. Lobster, another food. Why would you put any cheese on it? You don't. Butter, yes. Cheddar cheese biscuits, beautiful. Just keep the meat and cheese separate. Project Osceola. The old ACC headquarters with 4512 Weybridge. Rod Nix, who just called 6th Street Capitol, Chicago, Illinois office location, suite 4525. Very interesting. Very interesting. Again, the only part that is missing on Rod Nix is that crispy green bean fry. Or Maybe it's not. Maybe. CJ, Florida State pays the exit fee with crispy green bean fries. Things are moving in Tallahassee. What about the Charlotte airport? No, June 20th is a Thursday. That's correct. Don't knock green bean fries without trying them. Richard Brookins. I'm not knocking them. I've never had them. I'm not knocking them. Just trying to figure out what the PATC community is trying to figure out. Toilet paper for the bathroom. Thank you so much, Carrie Gold Nose. Thank you for the super chat, your generosity, helping us keep the toilet paper stocked for the bathroom here in the studio at the corner of Keith Jackson Parkway and Kurt Gowdy Avenue. Thank you so much for your generosity, Carrie Gold Nose. Appreciate it. What was the price of the crispy green bean fries at TGI Fridays? Jordan H. O'Brien's River Walk may or may not have crispy green fries under menu highlight. CJ, healthy fries. Is crispy green fries a healthy? Is that healthy? Probably not. Amy asked, because of the green bean fries, it probably an actual receipt. And the clue is where they was ordered or where they were delivered to, maybe. Crispy green fries loaded with cheese sauce for Greg. Got no problem with that. Rod Nix, Greg, check out the Sportical article of January 20th, 2024. Can somebody send me the link? Can you send me the link? The only Sportical article I see for January 30th has to do with Taylor Swift. Something to do with the Taylor Swift jacket. Taylor Swift jacket designer. The NFL grants license to Taylor Swift jacket designer. Something like that. Crispy green bean fries are an appetizer. Maybe someone's appetite for expansion has gone from nil to hungry. Let them eat. Okay, I think we're going to close it up here at Peek Around the Corner. Very interesting. The PATC community, they put their thinking's cap on. We've got some clues. I'm going to read them again in the Holy Smokes Theater. We'll be able to provide more information. We'll be able to provide more information as time goes on. And on the receipt, the only thing you could see that fell out of the pocket of the guy who was dressed real nice in a nice suit who walked out of the theater after dropping off the suitcase, putting the key on the suitcase, a receipt fell out of his pocket. There's the letter O at the top line. The rest of the print is washed away. Underneath it is 4-5 with a space and an E. The next line is a capital C with an H. And then there's a bunch of spaces that are washed out, a couple lines of information. And then there is crispy green bean fries. That is on the receipt. Okay. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, we covered this when this article came out. Sporticle. Thank you, Rod Nix. Thank you, Expedition Greg, for sending it to me. Project Osceola. 6th Street is still in active talks with Florida State about a possible investment. The initial discussions between J.P. Morgan and Florida State date back to at least the summer of 2022. Yeah. So what's the theory here? Are we saying it was a 6th Street guy in a suit walks in, gives a load of money to Florida State, gives him a key, he starts walking out, a receipt drops from his pocket, it says O on the receipt, it could be Osceola Project. 45 space E, that's part of the address for 6th Street. Is that what's possibly is going on here? And then there's some lines that are, you can't see anything, and then there is that crispy green bean fry. Maybe they serve crispy green bean fry or at 6th Street or I don't know. That part of it I can't understand. That part of it I can't understand. Interesting. Very interesting. You guys have done a wonderful job. You have done a wonderful job. I will tell you. Without knowing it really, you've connected lots of the dots. It just so happens that none of you got it totally correct. Some of you got a part of it right. The other person got a part of it. Another person got a part of it. Another person got a part of it. If you all put your heads together, if you go through the comments, all the dots are there. It's just not one of you brought it all home. But pretty much it was all there. So we'll be giving out more information as time goes on. The Holy Smokes Theater. If you're new to the channel, or if you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to our channel. Open up your notifications. Before you leave, please smash the like button. I appreciate the donations, the comments, the couple phone calls that we received. Well, until next time, from all of us at College Footballs, peek around the corner to all of you, please, 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 you all take great care of each other. Thank you so very much.